Studios presents. All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Moonhawk Studios Presents, the podcast that can actually manage to get the right theme song.
Sometimes.
I'm your host, Mac Paladin, and if I sound a bit subdued this week, it's because I'm damn tired. With me in the studio, as
Hooray.
always, with me in the studio, as always, is my embattled cohort, Adam.
Embattled?
Well, I figured every week you're on this show, it's another trial for you, so you're always. I can always hear the head shaking.
Do not
I'm
think
just
that word means what you think it means. Anyway,
yeah,
Whatever.
embattled, embittered, embarrassed.
The bitter butter battle.
Anyway, we also have I don't know, one of these guys, Petty Fan in the hizzy.
Word.
The Galax is hanging around.
Yep.
Twilight Winter is here,
yo.
and of course, Elemental Ogre is back.
The hizzy. God, you're white.
I know, it can't be helped. It's all in my DNA.
Dunno.
All right. Well, we don't have a guest this week, so we're just winging it as usual. So, Adam, why don't you start us off with the news?
Mm. Let's see. The news is, well, we have another Thursday interview of Fragment Silicon in the morning because I had to take my mother in. As it turns out, it wasn't a mammogram; it was an MRI.
Oh.
Like, yeah. Uh, Trying to see what's going on in her upper chest area. Like, apparently, it was the mammogram that triggered maybe something cancerous. Like, um, but it could also, it's probably calcification. Um, uh, Result of she was in a pretty bad wreck a couple of years ago, and thus had some tissue damage, and apparently that's a common thing. Like, I think the result, it'll take about a week to get the results. I'm like, you know, don't think it's cancer, but this is to make sure that it isn't cancer.
Mm.
So,
We're not saying it's aliens, but
right. And speaking of which, I got to help her with spring cleaning this weekend. Like,
oh, fun.
yeah, it's warming up, so she's got some stuff that she needs to clean out, and I need to be there because heavy lifting. Yeah, yeah,
Manual labor.
yeah.
I'm glad you didn't say the other thing.
So that's my week.
All right. Petty Fan, what have you got?
Is it June yet, first of all? We just finished, Final Fantasy XIV's last part of the story for Heaven's Word, and I'm like, is it June yet? Is it June yet? But I
What's
also,
happening in June? No.
yeah, I'll give you 5 guesses. You only need one. But I also got my pre-order for Stormblood paid off, so I'll be getting that on launch day. Got some stuff fixed so I won't be losing internet, so that's gonna be fun. And just been kind of living, doing shit, playing games. You know, the whole nine.
Alrighty. Galax?
I'm tired today and I don't know why.
Well, you were dying for like the last 2 weeks, so it only stands to reason you might be sapped of energy.
Yeah, well, I've been feeling better, but the last couple days I've been feeling kind of crummy again, and my cough I think might be getting worse, but not too bad. So we'll see how that goes. Work has also been a little bit stressful lately because I am kind of in charge of a program that I don't really think, or in a project that I never really thought was particularly well advised. And it's getting down to crunch time on one of the delivery dates. So,
Are we having I'll do this, but you're not going to like it moments?
not exactly so much as we had a little extra money from a grant, and they asked if we could carry it over. But the thing that we asked to that my supervisor asked to carry it over for is not one of the things that I was thinking would be a good idea. Anyway.
Well, in terms of grants, if you don't spend it, you don't get it again.
Oh no, we were absolutely lucky to be able to carry it over.
Yeah.
It's just the specific project that it's assigned to now is a little bit weird. I don't want to go into too much detail, but yeah. So yeah, that's been a little bit stressful, but otherwise I'm doing okay. I'm still playing Breath of the Wild in my free time. I'm trying to decide which divine beast to take on second, although I might not rush on that because I think that triggers enemy upgrading, and I do want to try to take on some Lionels while there are still red ones in the wild, because the red ones are hard enough. Especially since I'm shit at perfect guarding and perfect dodging or whatever. Anyway, other than that, not a whole lot going on. The weather's been seesawing, but what else is new?
All right. Twilight, what's cooking?
Not much. Finally took care of the burial plans for, and mowed the first, taking care of mowing grass for first day of the year. Well, yeah. Anyway, not much going on really.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd need
Fair
to mow grass someday, but it's also been raining a lot, and I don't feel like destroying the mower.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of rain recently as well. And they're saying for lawnmowers are working. They usually don't the first day.
Yeah. What with gas been sitting in there for 9 months?
And drain the oil out. That's fun.
Okay.
Next.
All right, Ogre. Save us.
Well, I wasn't here last week because I had a dentist appointment early in the morning.
You
So I
missed
had
a fun interview.
I had to knock off early, so. But I went in for my wax fitting, and it worked out pretty well. I should have my new dentures by the 14th of April. So, good for me. Finally, things coming up a little bit. Good for me. But, let's see. I'm almost done with my month of jury duty. Which, yay. Glad when that's over with.
No,
It's
at least you're
it's not a month of literal jury duty so much as a month of being available to
I'm on
be
call
drafted
all
into
month.
be drafted into jury duty basically.
Yeah. I always have to be up to be available and everything, but so far so good.
Arizona
So
has
I have one last Friday to go, so you never know how that one's going to work out.
Arizona has a 1 day, 1 trial policy.
Yeah, I think that's what Missouri has too.
Yeah. So if you sit in the jury room for a day and they don't call you, then you're free. If they call you then you do one trial and you get out, and then they're not allowed to call you again for 3 years. Oddly enough, I must be branded a criminal or something, or dead, because, well, now that I've said this, I'll probably get summoned. I'll get a summons in the mail tomorrow.
Yeah, because Karma's a bitch.
They're like, it's a red state. He's registered Democrat. I don't want him.
Let's see. Other than that, everything's going pretty well. It's nice and spring out there, minus the rain every once in a while. But hey, whatever works.
Luna, quit.
And thankfully, no random cat attacks either. So
He literally just wanted my shoulder. Help.
other than that, that's pretty much it for me.
I love how Ogre just steamrollered over you.
Hinjaku.
I'm having a Schadenfreude moment here.
Oh, right. Also worth mentioning, Naka's apparently getting married sometime soon.
Yep.
Oh ho.
Sometime September.
Oh yeah.
Oh ho.
For privacy reasons, that is the information that is available.
That's pretty much all I'm saying. If he wants to say more, that's up to him.
Well, he can come on this damn show if he wants to.
I think he's in bed by this time.
Yeah.
Some people have to get up early for work in the morning.
Yeah, work. What the fuck is that?
I get up early for work in the morning, but I still do this podcast.
I mean,
Anyway.
it's your show, so.
Yeah, if I don't show up, then there is no goddamn show.
Pretty much. Like,
oh man. I guess it's my turn to go, or
Yeah, I'm done.
okay. God damn it! Like, up until about 5 minutes before the show, I was sitting here in the chair, just dozing, going, "All right, don't fall into a deep sleep. Just rest your eyes, rest your." Oh God!
Pumpkin,
Is my
get
game
him.
Still going? Oh my God! Is my game still going? That's how it's been lately. Ever since you know who packed up and left, I've had this extraordinarily irregular sleep cycle where before I met her, I would sleep for 4 hours a night on work days and then sleep for about 12 hours on my days off. And I'm starting to backslide into that again.
That's healthy.
It was never a pleasant time for me. My weight yo-yoed. I couldn't get anything done because I was sitting here going, I gotta work. Oh God, there's cats. They need to be fed. Oh, the litter box.
Daddy, feed me.
That's kind of how it is. I've actually, over the weekend, I found a bunch of furniture out by the magic dumpster again. And I get a huge chuckle out of this magic dumpster, but I tell you, I found a $400 laser printer, copier, scanner, fax machine. I found a full set of chairs that were actually in good condition. I found several bookcases, all of which were usable. I now have in the back of my office now, I pulled out all of the totes and things. So the only place that there is nonsensical storage is in the shelves above my head. But I've got all my bookcases organized. I've got all the recording equipment on the new bookcase I just put behind me. I ended up with a mahogany TV stand that I'm using as a mini desk.
Mahogany.
Huh?
Mahogany.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's nice. The only thing that was wrong was that there's a wedge split off of one of the doors where the peg that holds it in place goes. So I took a shelf peg, it's got that little flat shovel shaped piece on one end, and then it's got a peg that goes in a hole, and then you rest the shelf on that. I super glued one of those into the half moon piece that's left on there and shoved it in there, and the door works just fine. So I put a little stain on it, and
like nothing ever happened.
well, kind of. I mean, it actually worked. My handyman skills are apparently worth something. And so now it's behind me as a little desk because I've been neglecting tax season because my finances computer, the one that had, Quicken Home and Business and all of my files on it for my business, has been dead for like 7 months. This kind of happens. Well, the hard drive went bad. It's got bad sectors on it or something. So every time
Ooh.
the reader arm hits a bad sector, it causes it to give me an NT loader missing error message and reboot the machine. So it boots up still with that drive, but you know. So I picked up for like $30 on eBay. I got a 90 gig Kingston, Extreme Series hard drive to throw in here because this machine's 8 years old. There's no real reason for anybody to get super excited about it. It's a Core 2 T series 9. It's a T9000 series, which is a really good processor for the time. And so I put $30 into it. I put the solid state drive in there, and now it runs like a damn near brand new computer. It performs like an i5, and I'm like, that's just not right.
Focus, whatever you do, don't go near the Solid State Society.
So I got it back up and running. I had Windows 10 on it before, but I decided to keep Windows 7 Pro on it this time, and installed my security software. This is the only machine that I have that runs Opera. Don't ask questions.
I'm just curious as to why you care about whether or not it runs Opera.
No, it's not. It's not a matter of, oh God, I'm so glad that it runs Opera. It's more like I installed it on there and haven't installed any other browsers on there.
Oh, okay.
Because I use 360 Total Security, and now it's in the habit of recommending other software. So I said, fuck it. I haven't used Opera in like 9 years. Why don't I give it a shot and see if it's gotten any better?
Next time, use links.
I may have to cut you. No, it's on there, and it's running my software and all that stuff, and that's all it needs to do. This is the only goddamn machine that I have that can successfully connect to my 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi.
However, that fucking works.
And that's older than shit. I mean, the machine is older than shit, but 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi is supposed to be faster and more reliable. And none of my other machines can pick it up, even though this machine that I'm broadcasting from is a Sandy Bridge i5. So that makes this machine about 5 years newer than the laptop sitting behind me. And it won't connect. It won't stay connected to it. It connects to the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi because it's a dual band router.
Mm-hmm.
And it sees it and then it disappears, and it sees it and it disappears. And it's funny because all these business class machines I have should be able to pick up 5 gigahertz like nothing because they've got all these, Centrino class, AGN, multicast network cards in them, so it should see it just fine. My fucking iPhone 7 can't find the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi with any reliability. So it's thoroughly disappointing because it's the better technology, it's more secure, yada yada yada. But this machine will pick it up and hold on to it for dear life. So downloads on this machine are blazingly fast because with 5 gigahertz you can get, if you've got 150 megabits internet over Wi-Fi, you're much more likely to get it. And thus endeth the technical diatribe.
Yeah, I wish my cell phone could fucking hold on to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's just so weird, So that's what I've done. I've set up my old work computer. I've got the dock for it. I've got an external hard drive. I've got a floppy drive. Again, no questions.
For those times you want to load up MS-DOS, right?
Yeah, for those times I want to put on and play Quake 2 with the Weapons of Destruction mod. Because I have the Weapons of Destruction mod on a floppy disk. It's a very small patch, but it allows you to throw napalm at your enemies. and have incendiaries that explode for like 10 minutes.
So everything you want in a
And-
video game.
And sticky bombs. And it's hooked up with a dual monitor, but it's like, it's so weird because I've got this 16-inch Acer monitor that I just use for, testing shit. And so, and it has this ridiculously high resolution display for 2008. It's 1920 by 1600, which for a 2008 laptop with a Core 2 processor, it's an extremely high resolution screen. I mean, you look at it and it's just like, wow, that is crisp. Laptop screens weren't so great. I don't remember if you guys remember the dark ages of 2008, but yeah, this laptop cost brand new about $3,000.
My laptop
I
that
got-
I currently have is from about 2008, 2009, so I know. I know.
They had kind of sketchy screens, even though high def was available. Those machines never truly outputted anything above 720p.
Yeah.
This
I don't
one
even-
can go full.
Mine's a weird resolution, just be a low 720p.
It's got a Quadro FX series, a 700 series graphics card with 512 megs on it, and it's got a 1080p capable high definition HDMI port, and I mean it's got all the bells and whistles. I mean this laptop it was my gaming machine up until I don't know, about 3 years ago. I ran the podcast off of it when my Mac Mini was being cantankerous. The microphone on it is still the best of all the microphones I have, short of my XLR microphone here. So it's just like I keep saying, well, it's time to retire the old bastard after all these years, and then I'm like, well, the fucking phone here. It's like I took it to Alabama with me, and here it is 6 years later. I'm still running the damn thing, so. And a clean load on it gave it a new lease on life. And then I found out I can, if I want to, spend an asinine amount of money, about $200. I can max it out with 8 gigs of RAM. So yeah, that's my boring adventures in technology. But I've spent a lot of time reorganizing the office and cleaning shit up. I still have a lot of scripts that I need to work on, but everything else is kind of on autopilot right now. So, we had 2 weeks where I wasn't actively producing the next segment of the movie. I gave everybody time off so that way they could recover from the blitz of making the teaser act of the Mercadian Affair. And so now this week, we're actually beginning pre-production on Act 1. I still need to get one more actor's lines, and then we're good to go. But for now, we're going to start production, and I'm going to read the lines to time out the segments, so that way we have the animation done. And we're going to be adding in some new innovations in that I've actually started, and I think I mentioned this last week, but I've started adding animatics. All these years of studying late 80s, early 90s PC and console RPGs and stuff like that kind of gave me some interesting ideas for how to make a motion comic feel like an actual movie. And so by putting in these little animatics and having a image of a character blinking while it pans across the screen and stuff like that, it just kind of adds that little missing element, I guess you could say. Because if we just took panels out of the comics and had them slide by and zoom in and do dumb shit like that exclusively, that would get I think that might get a little boring after a while. But if we're able to actually create some legitimate looking animations for it, I think it's going to look a hell of a lot better. Misadventures in casting. I'm not going to get terribly specific about that because I'm sure I'll get letters.
You get letters?
Yeah. there's 26 of them in the alphabet, and sometimes people repeat them. But they're just, I don't know. Let me put it this way: authenticity has its place, and it's bad when you accidentally racially profile someone while trying to create accurate representation.
Or any other time, but
Well, if you're trying to cast somebody who is legitimately a thing that your character is, you would think that that's not such a big deal, but it is. So tread lightly, my friends. That's all I have to say. But I'm kind of excited. This week we actually start production on one of the largest segments of this storyline, to date. And as I said, there's gonna be a lot more to it. The teaser act was only a taste of what we're going to do, and I will challenge everyone to figure out what other character besides Admiral Cobalt that I am playing in this movie.
is it a cat?
I may have to shoot you.
No, because Hideaki Anno did that in Fooly Cooly, and it was a surprise.
No, this is a person.
Okay.
Is it a cat person?
There are cat people in this particular set of episodes, but no. And I'm not going to narrow it down anymore for you, so you can stop guessing. Let's just say that my sound guy, who has a musical ear, did not recognize me as the actor in this role until I told him. So I think I did a good job of masking my identity. Should be pretty fun, though. I'm experimenting with doing other voices because I'm using this film to build up my vocal portfolio. I may delve into voice acting.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's not exactly an easy field, and everybody who's making a career out of it is doing like 40 films a year. So we'll see, but I'm trying to get a little extra cash every now and again. It has, it's more of that would make it more of a hobby profession for me. But I thought it would be nice, to, kind of be four corners when it comes to movie production. It's like you're a director, you're a producer, you're a writer, and an actor.
I'm not sure how easy it is to get into just for a fairly minor thing, but it could be worth a shot.
Well, this isn't going to be a fairly minor thing. I mean, I am the lead in my own film.
No, I mean outside of in your own projects.
Well, we'll see. That's why I said once we finish it and I have some stuff to put in my demo reel, then people can decide for themselves if I'm any good for their projects.
Or just
Admiral
laugh at
Cobalt,
you.
Well, that could have its own positive effects. But Admiral Cobalt runs the gamut in this film from jubilation and glee to pitying despair, absolute rage and murder. There's a lot of mayhem and chaos in this storyline, and Adam has probably been watching us the longest, so he knows a little bit about what is to come.
I do.
Well, if you remember anything about the previous incarnations of Starship Moonhawk, I think you'll have a pretty good idea of what's coming up.
I gotta admit, it all blends together.
There's as if the excitement wasn't enough in Act 3, Act 4, there's a major, major space battle. And I guarantee you, it goes a hell of a lot faster than the battle between the Enterprise and the Scimitar and Nemesis. But then again, watching two wooden sailing vessels roll up on each other and open fire with full broadsides would take less time than the battle of the Enterprise and the Scimitar and Nemesis. So, there is that. That's all I really have for movie stuff right now. Anybody have any thoughts about stuff and things?
Samurai Jack is getting good.
There you go.
Kidding?
That was a pretty bitchin' cool cutscene we had at the end of the story.
On Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody here plays 14, so we have to, iterate that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it this way in 3 words: Shinryu versus Omega.
Oh man, bonus boss fight.
Yep. And Omega is set to be a raid boss in Stormblood, so
With the full-on classic spindly spider machine appearance.
yep, that's what he had.
Whether that's what we'll be fighting in the raid or not is something entirely different.
It's probably that.
Well, at least final turn, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can think of is more weapons, but they'd have to go through like Ruby, Emerald, and Diamond, and then people will start making Steven Universe references, and you slowly choke them to death for it.
I
I've
was
still
thinking
not.
when you said that, I was thinking about that scene with Sergeant Hartman in Full Metal Jacket where he says, "Now choke yourself." Don't grab my arm. Lean in and choke yourself. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, I've never watched Steven Universe, so
I'm surprised they've never done an Emerald character yet. I mean, it's like right there: Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. Go for the Pokemon reference.
True, although Emerald is actually like scientifically extremely different from Ruby and Sapphire, which are essentially identical.
That explains that combination now.
Yeah, Ruby and Sapphire are both corundum, and if it's red, it's Ruby. If it's any other color, it's Sapphire. Emerald is a kind of barrel, which is way less hard and probably lower on the totem pole.
And sometimes
reason
it comes in queen varieties. No.
Yeah, the reason well, in Sailor Moon, the vast majority of enemies are named after green gemstones.
Yeah, you kind of realize that once you get older and start realizing their names kind of all had "ite" at the end of them. Like, hey, wait a minute, that's used for stones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to think manga artists may be kind of lazy when it comes to naming characters.
Or they may be extraordinarily clever and a little too sublime for our pedestrian minds to fully absorb.
No, I'm going with lazy, Mr. Akira Toriyama. Look, I got food. I'll just name it after everything here.
Food and underwear for some reason.
That one I'll never get.
he tried to eat his underwear once, it didn't end well.
I have a character named Miss Bustier that has very large boobs in Starship Moonhawk, so I have nothing to add here.
At least the dub went out of it the way to make her name Bulla instead of just plain Bra. And Bulma is just a weird way of saying bloomers.
Yeah, and Trunks is...
Trunks is actually shorts for some reason. I don't know why that translated differently.
Probably because shorts was a little too beyond the pale.
No, that was just a joke that apparently just kind of went over everyone's heads.
Like, that too.
Though it does make you wonder what Dr. Brief's first name is.
possibly Boxer.
You know what? That's too perfect to not be true now.
Dr. Briefs also known as a secret Nazi.
Dr. Boxer Briefs.
Oh, Team Four Stars ruined that character for me.
Dragon Ball, he was a little more prominent. Not exactly much.
Mhm. Well, it's like after the Cell arc, doesn't he like not really show up at all?
He shows up like for a bit when Trunks goes to get the Dragon Radar, but that's about it.
Yeah. And like after that, I think the last time he really showed up was in Super, like this last week.
Mm,
Yeah, they do. Yeah, Toriyama's not exactly great at remembering where his characters are.
case
In fairness, it was a really long manga.
Yeah, it was his longest one. That's why he stopped doing long mangas. He's like, fuck that shit. I don't care how much money I get. I want to do small stuff. I'm getting that much for Dragon Ball Super? Here's some character designs. Go have at it, guys.
Yeah. Don't fuck it up.
So, the week in politics.
Oh God, I tried. I
don't even
tried
know
to
where-
steer the ship off of this.
I don't even know where to begin with this.
It was inevitable, Petty fan. It was inevitable.
It's inevitable, like that Omega and Shinryu fight. That was great. Man, that was a good one.
Just bringing it back. just bringing
Do
it
you
back.
want me to go play the fight? I could probably find it on YouTube.
I've already found it on YouTube. I was just gonna
Well,
make
I
it.
plan to monetize these videos, so please don't add anybody else's copyrighted materials.
Yeah.
Unless we
I
have
was gonna make
permission
it-
for it.
I was gonna make a joke about the very end of that cutscene where I go, "Oh, somebody's gonna have fun editing TV tropes tonight."
When was the last time the MSP TV tropes page was updated?
Oh, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about it for characters in Final Fantasy 14.
But
You know the one I'm talking about.
well, you know what? I don't know, Adam. Like 2011. Been quite some time, actually.
Was TV tropes even around back then?
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
The mysteries.
We've had a TV tropes page since 2009.
I think it was somewhat later than that, but it's
Not much.
yeah, it's been years. I do know that.
Well, you know, we haven't exactly had any BSODs lately, so
Hmm.
and we haven't exactly created any meme-worthy stuff since. So you know, like the penis, huh?
Don't remind me.
On a scale from 1 to Japan.
There you go. Put it on a shirt. Angrish. Haven't had a whole lot of that lately. Been a rather pastoral experience on the program.
Well, it's because you're dead tired right now. I'm assuming
Yeah.
there'd be a lot more anguish if you were a
You
little
know
more
what?
awake.
The travesties that are the President of the United States and the government, from the Congress all the way down to the local level in the United States, is such a non-stop siege of clown car kerfuckery that it's impossible for me to get my dander up about any one particular issue anymore.
I was thoroughly amused by the outright admission that the entrenched opposition party for 8 years does not actually have a goddamn clue how to govern.
You know, we learned this during 8 years, well, at least for 6 of those 8 years under Bush.
Oh no, I know, but they admitted it now.
Yeah, they finally came out and said we don't have a plan. But this latest thing with I'm not gonna use his real name. I'm gonna refer to him as Representative Nim Num. Throwing some more smoke and mirrors out there. So, as I understand it from the CNN breakdown and a couple of other places, and of course we all know CNN's fake news now. But as I understand it from the breakdown, he received a quote-unquote disturbing text while riding with his staffers and his aides. He gets out of the car,
Oh.
gets into an Uber, goes to places unknown, has a meeting at the White House that is not documented on the books, then comes out and holds a series of press conferences where he says he has something big, but he can't share any information, so thus wasting our time with a lot of hand waving. So, according to what's been pieced together, when he got that
definitely sounds like a legitimate and not at all shady way for things to
Oh.
happen.
It gets even better. So the text and or phone call or whatever that made him get out of the car was actually a summons to the White House. He took the Uber to the White House so that they could tell him that so that they could brief him on what he's going to say to the press, so that way he can say, "Oh, I need to brief the White House." But the White House already briefed him because it's a double blind attempt to fuck around with us. So he goes out and holds a press conference saying, "Well, I had to alert the president to what came up." It's like, no, the president told you to come to the White House so he could tell you to tell everybody else that you had something to tell the president.
Oh, no, he did have to tell the president what was up because the president told him to.
Right.
Is it just me, or does Nunez's name kind of sound like an mystical animal of some sort?
You are required on this podcast to refer to him as Representative Num Num.
Oh, yeah, he's from where you are, isn't he?
Can we go with numbnuts instead?
You know what? That is an acceptable alternative.
Well, I don't enforce stupid head outside of myself, so.
So, as if that whole sequence of events wasn't convoluted enough, naturally, it's a distraction to try to lure us once again away from the fact that it is extraordinarily likely that the President of the United States is about to be indicted basically for treason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with this.
And they're just trying to stall it for as long as fucking possible.
Well, you can't indict the president while he's president, and he's probably not getting impeached soon. But the way this goes is his cronies will get indicted.
Yeah, there's definitely
Or all
that.
of his guys will have him removed from office, and then they'll indict him.
Well, they'll impeach him and then they'll indict him.
God, just when you think you need a new Ollie North.
Well, the question is who flips first? Who gets the shortest prison sentence?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's like there are some more moderate Republicans out there who are very much sharpening their axes as we speak. So not the least of which are Lindsey Graham and John McCain. And to be honest with you, I threw up a little bit in my mouth saying that because those two guys being our champions of justice just makes me ill. Since both of them are major fucking criminals for entirely different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also suggested very possibly, again, rumor and innuendo, but may have basis in fact, that John McCain, my beloved senator from Arizona here, may have made some people disappear throughout his career. So, there's that. So make sure that we preface that so that we don't get any slander lawsuits. But, the most obvious
Mac
and
Paladin
egregious...
says that McCain made people disappear.
Well, at least politically.
Totally true, not fake news.
Yeah, at least politically he made them disappear. That much I think we can
Politically
say.
with bullets through the face.
Well, what they do here in Arizona is what McCain did, and this is one of those things where it's like, this is the monster that you've created, Senator McCain, is that for the last, 5 or 6 elections or so, he's always polling in like the 30-40% range. So they'd pack up a clown car of absolutely crazy challengers, thus guaranteeing his nomination for the Republican Party. And then by contrast, he'd say, "Look, I'm not as crazy as those motherfuckers." So he just, he appealed to the silver foxes here in Arizona and ushered his way in. But he's never really done so. Like if you looked at our ballot in November, there was like, I don't know, besides Ann Kirkpatrick, who was a pretty weak Democratic challenger, you had Green Party, you had Libertarian Party. I mean, you had like, I don't know, 4 or 5 independent candidates who were just siphoning votes away from Ann Kirkpatrick. And McCain won with less than 50% of the vote here in Arizona. So I mean, it's just, you say to yourself, another conspiracy. But it's like, tap the side of the forehead and go, look at the numbers. And we've got a customer at the store where I work. That's kind of funny. He's a lifelong Republican, but he'll be damned if he's going to let McCain get away with it. He will fight to his dying breath to try to expose McCain, and it's hilarious. Just funny. Just funny. McCain actually had a lot in common with John Kerry, which is kind of odd, in that had a fairly wealthy family that he came from and served in the military, became noteworthy for that service, but then got out of the military and entered into politics and married into even more money, and it's been smooth sailing ever since. And that's where the similarities between them end, because if I'm not mistaken, John Kerry was actually a war hero. I hate to say it, but John McCain is most famous for being shot down. So that's Arizona politics in a nutshell right there.
God, I'm glad we could stay awake through that one.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, guys. You're always a peach.
Oh no, it's just that Arizona is a terrible, terrible place. So very little you say ever surprises me.
I think to be honest with you, and I hate to be cynical to the electorate, but unfortunately, this last election cycle has cemented this belief firmly in my mind, and that is that the people of the Rocky Mountain states just are so easily snowed. It's like between the heat, the cold, and the sparsity of population, the people of this area seem to be sheeple. And so it's very easy for hucksters and charlatans to take advantage of the electorate in these sparsely populated states.
Damn carpetbaggers.
That's a word that got me banned off of a political site when I used it in reference to Rand Paul. They deleted my post and I was no longer allowed to post there. And I was like, really? Carpetbagger is that offensive?
At least I didn't call him a carpet muncher with that hairdo.
Wow.
Hey, you all been really great. I'll see you next year.
Uses his hair as a blow tickler. Oh wait, anyway. Oddly enough, that reference right there, it was somehow a sexual innuendo in an episode of Are You Being Served? One of my favorite 70s British comedies.
There are a lot of those.
Well, who knew that my love of a retail comedy would give me so much insight into a profession that I never knew that I was going to make a career of. And it's like every year the joke becomes longer. It's like, yep, I've been in retail for 22 years, and that's 21 years, 364 days too long.
Yeah, I'm glad I managed to avoid retail. I don't think I would have lasted very long.
I got to get job number 2 again. It's just too. It's becoming too hard to juggle, and with bankruptcy looming around the corner, it's just like I got to get another $300-400 a month consistently. I wasn't really looking forward to going back to work 67 hours a week. If that happens, I may be pushing the show night to Thursday nights.
We'll see how that works.
Yeah, well,
We'll see if that happens at all. Like, I suspect if you get 2 jobs again, like the show's probably going to go on hiatus. I mean, that's what happened last time.
I don't know. I kind of still want to do it. So
I'm aware it's not a matter of like wants. It's more you're probably like going to be dead tired or something.
yeah, well, we'll see. I'm already dead tired. So what fucking difference does it make?
I thought you were already dead.
That too.
You can be both.
All right, Kenshiro.
Hey, at least I can pronounce Hokuto correctly.
This is true.
See, that kind of classic mispronunciation of Japanese has almost stopped bothering me.
It's weird because he does it phonetically correct, but it's not the way that it's pronounced.
Well, it's the same thing as the classic Sakura, all the way back from Card Captors.
Yeah.
It's one of those he hasn't heard the word spoken, so
Yeah.
it's the wind
Mm-hmm.
instead of wind.
Wait, you mean wind? That's how it's spelled?
Mm-hmm. That's how it's spoken. I've only heard it said. However, that joke went.
One of my cousins, apparently, for the longest time, it just never came up because she never had to say it. She was like reading something out loud, and she pronounced chaos as chouse because she didn't realize that was the word chaos.
And that's how Sega came up with that.
It's like,
Akarna?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one's never going to make sense, and I'm going to hold that up as an example of fuck you, English is stupid. Look at this ocarina, but isn't it spelled with an O? Yeah, fuck you too. And my all-time favorite English word that makes no goddamn sense, kernel.
here's a
Wait.
hint. It's not an English word.
I know.
Well,
right.
the thing is that kernel is based on taking the spelling of the word from, I believe, Italian and the pronunciation from French.
You can trust me because I'm a colonel. Anyway.
The derivation of the phrase is column leader in an army because it's I think in the Roman times you'd have like in the square there's like a square that one guy's in charge of the whole square, and then each column of the square there's another guy who's in charge of it.
I still hate the hell out of it, so.
And there's no such animal as a guy raff.
There isn't? What the fuck?
And what the hell's a lieutenant all of a sudden?
That's British.
Well, that's British, yeah.
I know.
It's actually derived from the term deck tenant, and so the lower ranking one might be on the left. I can't remember. I researched this a long time ago, but
Words are hard.
anyway, yeah. And while we're at it, let's get into the GIF and GIF argument here.
I brought up giraffe on someone about that the other day.
You did the guy raff thing.
Yeah.
It's like you do understand that according to Oxford English, that a G followed by the letter I is pronounced J. And
Usually, yeah.
well, here's the thing, and they're like, yeah, but it's an acronym, and it's like, well, there's a rule in acronyms too that acronyms have to be pronounced the way that whatever In other words, if you're using an acronym as a word, then it has to still follow the same rules of English.
Well, the thing
So-
that gets me is the chief complaint that people raise about GIF is that they say, I don't like that because it sounds like the peanut butter, when that literally is the joke.
It is not. It just stands for graphical interchange format.
Yeah,
That's
but there
it.
was like the people who came up with it were making like choosy programmers choose GIF jokes because that was like one
No,
of the
that's what people
exact
came up with.
things.
That's what sassy meme writers came up with after the fact. The guy who created it was quite milquetoast. I'll tell you that right off the bat there. And he said,
Why
"No,
does
I didn't
milk
even really
toast
think
make me
about it."
hungry for French toast all the damn time?
Right?
Milk toast is, I forget what it is, but it's sort of like French toast.
No, milquetoast means you're boring.
I know, but it is named after an actual food.
Well, it's spelled Milkway toast, so I don't
Yes.
know what you're talking about. Anyway, way off the topic there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, as
happens.
long as you're not talking politics, I think I can live with that.
Oh, but how will you deal with the last news desk on the left?
Assuming
Whenever we get to
you
it.
find a place for it.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll do it on Sunday night alongside Meet the Press.
We have a Fragments thing on Sundays.
Yeah,
You're-
Sunday night is our planning call
Get the fuck out of my face.
and reviews.
Yeah, it's like no, yeah,
We're
Sunday
not
night.
even on
steak.
video call.
Eh?
Can't get out of your face if we don't have the video.
I can fix that. I'll turn on all of your webcams.
I don't have a
Mine's
webcam.
not plugged in.
Are you gonna hack the planet next?
That's right. Maybe call the cyber police. I will guarantee that consequences will never be the same.
Hack
Yes.
the plant, hashtag lumberjacks.
Wow. All right. Well, I think at this point I'll wrap this up. That's our sleepy little podcast for the week. Before I do that, though, I need to put one of our members on blast here. Petty fan.
What did I do?
It's rather what you haven't done.
Help?
Oh,
See, normally I'd fill this space in with, be sure to tune in next week for when we have so-and-so and such on the program. But I can't do that. Because there is no so-and-so to plug. So what's the deal, dude? Talk to me.
Wall of silence.
Start sending out hundreds of emails. It's like webcomics, vloggers, video game players, let's players, some asshole scratches
did.
butt on YouTube. Huh?
it's the kind of thing I did when I booked MSP.
Mhm.
I still kind of do it for my show. No,
To
Yeah.
Mac. Just get anyone who scratched their ass on YouTube. Oh, I don't think we want JonTron on our show anytime soon.
Oh! Man down, shots fired.
In the head.
That was a kill shot. Butt scratchers and navel gazers.
Well, we already have you, Mac. Who else can we get?
You know, if it weren't for people like you, I wouldn't go forward and back, and then forward and back, and then forward and back, and then 1 foot forward.
You still need to do that fight ogre.
I need to do every goddamn thing in this game. It took me a year and a half, but I finally got into PvP. Slowly and surely, I'll get to Alexander by the time I hit 70 after the patch.
Well, all I'm saying is that when you got when you got Drac, and it's not Drek. Stop calling him Drek. It's Drac. Drac and Seabass on the show. We hit almost 400 views in a week, whereas right now we're hovering at about 6.
I thought you were talking about Dracula. I was going to say, what are you, Adam Sandler all of a sudden?
What? Yeah. One of them is a cool YouTuber's name. The other one stands for garbage. Let's make sure we differentiate between.
In fairness, the garbage one has a C in it. I guess I could try and come up with a list of things that I'm interested in, but
Actually,
I have no
Breck can be
connections.
spelled D-R-E-C-K or D-R-E-K.
Fair
It
enough.
can actually be spelled either way. I belabored that point way longer than I wanted to for comedic value, so thank you for indulging.
Only
yeah.
as long as you stay as cute as you are, Mac.
What's that now?
I said only as long as you stay as cute as you are, Mac.
Aww. All right, well, that's it for Moonhawk Studios Presents for this week. Be sure to tune in next week when, I don't know, we'll be doing something. On behalf of the crew at Moonhawk Studios Presents, I'm Mac Paladin saying thanks for listening and stay safe out there, kids.